Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we are going to look at some more issues or things related to plant-based diet. So I'm going to talk about why a plant-based diet is in fact the one that you should be choosing. So the previous two videos that I've made have both been along the same line. So plant-based diet, why? Why do we need to eat a plant-based diet? So today I'm going to go a little bit more into the creation versus evolution, because this is a key point in this debate, why a plant-based diet. So when you look at the different diets or lifestyles out there, you have an omnivorous, carnivorous, plant-based, vegan, then there are all the in-between ones as well. So there are so many out there. So I'm going to talk about 6 different facts or 6 different reasons why creation and then why a plant-based diet. Okay, so it's predominantly going to be creation versus evolution, because if we look at creation, we have been created to consume a certain kind of food. If we go away from that, when we step into the evolutionist side of it, where you have evolved to become man as we are now, it will go and it will tell you that man created fire, hunter-gatherer, so you have to eat meat, you have to go out, you go and have to catch your food, hunt your food. And I will get to the point why that does not quite match with our bodies. So first, I'll look at history. Okay, so history tells us many things. History is usually written a long time ago, and we can see how things have changed. In history, we have not seen evolution ever happen. It's never been recorded where an animal goes and changes into a different species. This has not happened where a cow suddenly changes into a lion. That does not happen. The species change. Or where a tree suddenly becomes a bird. These things have not been recorded in history. This has not happened. There's also a cycle of life which is recorded, which corresponds with creation. If you look at the accounts of creation, there's a created being, then there's death, and it goes around in a circle. Evolution does not quite have this nice little circle, because if you evolve to become the fittest, you suddenly create your own cycle, and that cycle has to include then all the different other parts. If you've suddenly from a tree, you've become a wolf, then other things have to evolve for you to get food. Okay, so many things have to happen. If there was originally one cell and mutated and evolved and changed, it would have happened that there was one tree, and that tree had to become many trees. Then one tree would become a wolf, for example. Then there would be no other animals for that wolf to eat. So other things would have to evolve. There are too many variables that are uncontrolled, that cannot be explained. Where creation, if something was specifically created, it's all there. Creation, boom, everything is there. The circle of life, death, everything in between, all the different species, the food chains, the food webs, how they all fit together, nicely wrapped up. So, history. In history, we also have a finite distance where we have recorded history. And in history, wonderful things were created. The pyramids, the Machu Picchu, all the structures and the natural things that people created back in history, they were not as primitive as we thought. They had to have skill and knowledge to move those massive bricks and those massive things they used to build their houses and their structures. They had to have had intelligence. Primitive man was not unintelligent. If we just look at history, we see the wonderful things that they did and they created. There's no explanation for it other than they were also intelligent beings. They just use their intelligence differently to how we use it now. They had to have been able to like laser cut the rock so that it fits on top of each other, so that the pyramids, for example, could be formed and not just topple over. They created roads in the Middle Ages that still exist today, with layering of different kinds of materials. So in history, they were able to create wonderful things. So moving on to the second point, mathematics and science. These two both prove creation, because there is a structure, there's a law, there's a rule. Everything is set out. It didn't just randomly happen. You can tell yourself gravity doesn't exist, but if you jump, you'll always come down. You won't float away and go somewhere else. So these laws are in place. 1 + 1 is 2. 1 finger, 2 fingers, 2. These laws, for every action there's a reaction. These are scientific and mathematical laws that exist. They've used the Large Hadron Collider to prove that the God particle, the original particle, exists. If without that particle, no one would exist. So it's more likely that creation was there. You can go and look at different kinds of scientific facts and mathematical facts, but you still will not come to something that has jumped to a different species that disobeys the laws that are set. There is nothing in nature on Earth that disobeys these mathematical and scientific laws. You'll see in the flowers the Fibonacci spiral. It's in nature in many different things, leaves, plants, fruit. Lots of them have this spiral, and it follows a mathematical rule. So mathematics, science follows natural laws, and it follows more creation. Evolution does not follow a law, it doesn't follow a rule, because it's supposed to continuously change. Depending on whatever action is performed on it, it will then change and become something else. There is microevolution or adaptation, but not evolution on a macro scale. So something can adapt to its environment, change a little bit. That's why we get different kinds of fruits, and different apples can go in hot climates or cold climates where they can grow. So that's adaptation. It has not jumped to a different species completely. Okay. Then the third point, cosmology, or the study of space. If we look at how Earth and the Sun and the planets are arranged, if the Earth was slightly closer, slightly further from the Sun, we would not exist. If the Earth turned a little differently on its axis, we wouldn't exist. If the Sun was slightly hotter, slightly colder, we would not exist. If the Moon was not there, we wouldn't have seasons or tides or time. So all these things had to have been in place for life to exist. It could not have just randomly happened, because it's all perfectly in place. If one of these things in space was a little bit out of place, we would not have existed. The chances of just a Big Bang happening are too slim. The chances of creation are higher than the chances of a Big Bang. So cosmology, how everything is arranged in space, is how it determines life. If the moon rotated slightly faster or slightly slower, we would not have been able to have life, because there would either be massive tsunamis, or there would be no movement in the oceans. So the oceans would become stagnant and not move. Then moving on to point number 4, biology. Okay. So I've talked a little bit about this, I've touched on it. Animals do not just change to become a different species. There are many different types of a similar species. So if you look at the cat family, a lion, tiger, leopard, cheetah, they're all from the same family. They don't just randomly change to a different species altogether. And if evolution was true, you'd see the different in-between steps, how they had started to change. So for example, the most famous one, that monkeys or chimpanzees became man. So where are all the in-between ones that are still busy changing in billions and millions and millions of years? If it took millions of years, then each one of us would still be in a different stage of evolution. And then evolution would also support all these different struggles that we have today. For example, racism. If evolution was true, it would support racism because one person is then better, stronger than another person because they've moved further along the evolutionary scale. So in essence, if you believe in evolution, you believe one type or one sort of person is better than someone else, and you then have the right to suppress or oppress this other person. And if survival of the fittest was true, then murder would be fine because, oh, I'm stronger than you, so I can eliminate you and I will become the better person. I'll move along in the evolutionary chain. And that does not happen around the world. If you see a baby duckling crossing the street, your first instinct is not to quickly run and squash it or to kill it. That's not a rational thought. Your immediate thought is to wait, to stop, let it cross. There are thousands of videos around the world of people saving animals. This goes against that survival of the fittest rule from evolution. We are by nature compassionate and loving people, which more fits in with creation, the creation account. Then number 5, physiology, the body. Our bodies are created for a plant-based or actually a fruitarian diet. We have a more elongated intestine and colon and stomach or GIT system. It's quite long. If you stretch it out, it will go 8, 10, 12 meters. Where if you look at a carnivore's intestines, they're shorter. They're about 4 to 5 meters, maybe even just the same size as its body length, either 1-to-1 body length to intestinal length, or 1-to-2, where we are 1-to-6, 1-to-8 with body length to intestinal length. We have extremely long gastrointestinal tracts. So this is to get all of the nutrients out of the plant material, because it takes a little more effort to get all the nutrients out of the plant materials. If we were on a carnivorous diet, we cannot make vitamin C, for example. There's no vitamin C in meat. If we ate a carnivorous diet, we would all die of scurvy. So we would not have vitamin C because we cannot make it ourselves. And we'd probably also die of vitamin B12 deficiency because you don't really get vitamin B12 from meat. Vitamin B12 comes from bacteria. So if you're getting it from meat, then there is something a little bit off, because then you have bacteria on your meat. There is vitamin B12 stored in the liver and in some of the organs, so then you'd have to consume the organs. But if you then look at the evolutionary side of it, you need, with your bare hands or feet and mouth, you have to run around, catch that animal, and then consume it raw if you are a carnivore. A lion does not run around on its back legs with a gun or a spear, catch the buck, the antelope, quickly make a fire, grill it over the fire, and then sit and eat that antelope. It dives right in with its teeth, kills that animal, and then consumes it right there. I have not seen any person being able to run and catch an antelope with your bare hands and your teeth. If evolution was true, you must be able to do that, because you have then evolved to be a hunter and a meat eater. So if you want to eat meat, you will then, in essence, you should be able to run and go and catch some kind of animal and directly dig in and consume it, bite it, eat it raw. So our biology is not created, is not made, is not geared toward eating an omnivorous or a carnivorous diet. Then to the issue of milk, where in nature do you see one animal drinking from a different animal to get milk? That does not really happen unless it's a baby animal that has been put with a different animal and then will nurse from that other animal. So like a surrogate. There are cases of that happening, but that's a really special and extreme circumstance, and that infant or that baby will not grow in the same natural way as it would if it was feeding off its own mother. And nowhere in nature do you find an adult animal trying to drink milk from another animal. So that's in essence what we're doing. If you're drinking that nice glass of milk, you're in essence sitting and sucking on that cow or the goat or whichever other animal your milk comes from. You are in essence then still breastfeeding like an infant. And that is unnatural. That is not supposed to happen. That also doesn't support evolution, where you should have evolved to know better and do better things. So again, our physiology supports creation, that we were created in a certain way for a specific diet, for specific food. And if we look at the creation account, you were given fruit, vegetables, nuts and seeds as an original diet. And those things, if taken in its best unprocessed natural form, will not harm you. If you include other products that have been modified by man or produced in a factory, not from the earth, then they could, in essence, then harm you because it's been changed from its natural form. Then the last one, number 6, is philosophy. The brain, thinking, higher thinking. If we have evolved again, then some people will have very low IQs and not have a lot of higher thinking, no thinking, and others would then have like a elevated or higher ability to think. And again, that will support the very difference in caste, in ethnicity, in races and different people. And that is simply just not true. We are not able to separate people according to their specific cognition. We might have different gifts, or we are good at different things, but one person is not smarter than another person because they can do mathematics and the other person can just play the piano really well. Both are intelligent in different ways. If you tell all the animals you measure their intelligence by climbing a tree, the monkey would be a genius and the elephant or the hippopotamus would not be very intelligent at all. You measure animals on the things that they do well individually. You don't measure them with the same outcome. Same way in people, we don't measure everyone with the same outcome. Everyone is an individual, created individually, and each one will then be good at different things. Okay, so those are the 6 reasons why creation is more true than evolution, and why creation then supports a plant-based diet. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, send me a message, comment, ask me a question, and have a fantastic day. So see you next time, and you can watch some of my other videos as well. Cheers.